now that you said all of the negative things, are there any things that are positive that you would like to say first before we do our video?
You guys are so pretty.
There you go. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, welcome to the Simplicity Sisters channel. We are back at our parents' house, and
Yes.
so we decided to do another video together, and we are going to do the minimalist, what is it called?
Tag. Minimalist challenge. Minimalist inspiration tag questions. What's it really called?
Is it minimalist inspiration? Probably.
The minimalist inspiration tag.
So we're going to do the minimalist inspiration tag together. No one has tagged us to do this. We're just doing it.
We're self-tagging. I'll
So-
tag her. She'll tag me.
Right. Tag teaming. So the first question is,
Why do you want to be a minimalist? Or why do you practice a minimalist lifestyle?
okay, so I'll start with why do I want to be a minimalist, because that's what's going on. I wanted to be a minimalist for a lot of reasons, because I just had too much stuff and it was starting to affect my mental health for sure. And I got married when I was 22 and stuff just kind of piled up and piled up. I had 3 children and I just started realizing maybe my life could be less chaotic, and maybe the stuff is a factor because I had never really lived with a small enough amount to even know. And I realized that my stuff was definitely affecting my mental health, Alex's mental health, and even our children, because even when we would clean the kids' room, they would get excited about cleaning their room and vacuuming and going to bed with it being clean and waking up to it being clean, and they were playing more. And every time we did things like that, it was huge stressful events, but once it was done, the difference in our family, like the emotional temperature of our family, was always way different and way more settled and peaceful. So I decided I wanted to stop having the stressful parts of like the chaotic cleanup and just try to live more with the settled easiness of we are just living peacefully in our homes with fewer things. And also I do feel like I was particularly convicted this year of just holding on to stuff in a really bad way, emotionally and physically. And I felt like God was telling me that I needed to be more responsible basically with the things that I own, and also with my own emotions and things that I was holding on to or not facing, not dealing with. And it felt kind of like they were parallel to each other. Like I wasn't necessarily facing this emotion or this relationship with this person or like this awkward situation, or you know, I was too stressed out to meet this person for coffee or to do like whatever it is, you know, you get anxiety with answering the phone or with whatever. I was having a lot of just burying things and like don't face things, just go take a nap, whatever. I was having a lot of things like I didn't want to deal with stuff. And that felt like, you know, didn't want to deal with stuff and also didn't want to deal with my stuff. So I felt like God was convicting me to face the things and be an adult and deal with my stuff for growth. So that's, especially this year and with this channel and everything, that's been my reason for wanting to be a minimalist. Why did you?
Well, I'm
decide?
definitely still not really a minimalist, but I practice minimalist principles and I want to be a minimalist for some of the same reasons. The biggest reason I think at the beginning was because I was so overwhelmed with everything in our home and our family, and I felt so frustrated because I was spending so much time cleaning, so much time organizing, so much time redoing things I'd already done, and it just felt like I was not accomplishing anything and nothing was ever done, and I felt extremely frustrated. And I think it's so unfair for women to feel like they are not able to do their jobs effectively as mothers, and I hate the way society really perpetuates that idea that we can't catch up, that we can't be on top of our jobs. And I think one of the reasons that is the case is because we as a society embrace this consumerist idea that you have to have it all, and then you have to take care of it all, and then you have to clean it all, and then you have to
And manage it all.
and manage it all. And I just think that's not possible But when you let go of some of the expectations of ownership and start being more intentional about buying and consumerism, then some of those other things fall into place. And that's definitely been the case for me. And also, you know, I wanted to do whatever I could to help my mental health, you know, my anxiety, to try to keep some of that under control. And it has. So, yeah.
That was something that I mentioned in the toy declutter video that I haven't posted yet, was that a lot of the things that I was realizing about my kids' toys is that I had so many great kids' toys that were awesome, but they were not great or awesome for my children. Like, my kids are more violent than some kids, so maybe they shouldn't have, you know, I don't know.
Toy cannons.
Yeah, like, there were, you know, there were things that...
For real, we should all declutter that from our lives right now.
There were toys that they would just hurt each other with, and that's all they would do with them. And they would not add value at all, but they would add plenty of value to another kid who was not just gonna, like, throw it across the room at a sibling. And just accepting, this is awesome, but it doesn't work for me and my family. So that was part of the realization for me too, is like, maybe this is my expectation of what motherhood and running a household and everything looks like, but realistically, like, maybe this is what I can handle, and I need to accept that and admit it and be a good steward of this much instead of being a horrible steward of this much.
That's great.
Because some people can handle like whatever, and I can't.
Yeah.
So
being flexible and realistic. I think minimalism has helped me be a lot more realistic about how I'm using my time, how I'm using my stuff, and how we're managing everything, and just being honest about things. Like, just being honest with myself about stuff, about my reasons behind things. All of that has become a lot more clear since I have been pursuing minimalism.
Right.
So what has been the toughest items or toughest groups of items to get rid of, and how did you overcome that?
Sentimental is always going to be tough for me. I had a couple of sentimental books that I mentioned in the video. Like, I had that inscription from Grandmama and Granddaddy, and that was, it wasn't even so much that I wanted to keep it. It was like, this feels weird getting rid of this and somebody else finding it and it being on the like cover of the book and stuff. But it was fine. And I said in the video, I had just gone through paper, so I just had all of these cards from them with the same inscriptions, only maybe like a little note to go with it. And I had all of these, and it had their signatures, and so it was a lot easier because I realized I don't need to keep 20 of these sentimental items. I can keep like one or two, or you know. So that the sentimental items has definitely been the hardest, and there are a lot of paper items. I think paper might be the only thing I've done so far where I haven't been able to cut like 50%. It's been 50% for clothes, 50% for kids' books, about 50% toys. I mean, Alex's clothes, he got rid of 50%. So it's been about 50% for every category except for paper. And I might go through again and get rid of more. But for me, it was definitely sentimental items. And I think there's going to be more to come, because a lot of that for me is the Marie Kondo last category of, I don't remember. Kimono. It's going to be a lot of the random things like the tchotchke type. Yeah. So that's a lot of that is to come. So we'll see how that goes.
I think for me, the hardest was some of the kids' toys that were probably for my aspirational children rather than my real children. Like, we had
your fantasy children.
My fantasy children. That's correct. Like, we had these beautiful Waldorf play stands that I got, and I just loved them, and the girls liked them. They used them, but we did not have the space in our home for them, so they just were taking up way too much space. And there have been a lot of other things. Like, we had some really beautiful puppets that I got rid of because they just weren't getting loved, even though they were really, really pretty. So for me, kids stuff is kind of hard because I always have this soft spot, and I feel like, oh, if I was doing parenting the way I wish I was, then these would be like very beloved toys. But like you said, if it's not, everybody has to figure out what's working. If it's not working, just find something else. We can't all do all the things all the time.
And it's great to visualize. It used to be really sad for me to get rid of things, and now I visualize someone else finding it and getting really excited.
Exactly.
Because I do that all the time when I'm thrifting. And if something is not good for you or your family, then someone else is probably going to be really, and especially if it's something that's hard for you to get rid of, because it might be
the perfect
a
thing
nice
they're looking
item.
for.
Yeah,
it might
really not be garbage.
Be looking for it.
Yes.
Who or what helps inspire you to declutter when you get stuck?
YouTubers.
Yeah.
For sure. I love watching YouTube minimalists while I am decluttering and minimalizing. I've been really into the Minimal Mom lately. She's just really practical and down to earth, and she has really great ideas, and she also will just kind of like throw out statistics sometimes, or like facts. Like the other day, I don't remember it of course, but she and her sister were talking about the human brain kind of only has room for like a certain number of friends, and it was real small. It was pretty small.
That's crazy.
That was interesting to find out, because I was thinking about social media and how like I can't handle
too much.
So that's who I go to for inspiration, is YouTubers usually. Now that I'm really serious about this, I'm trying to go to Leah more a little bit and like, you know.
I have read a lot of books and stuff about it. So
yeah.
Hopefully I have some facts that I can pull out of some of those mini resources that I have studied. I love Joshua Becker. I've mentioned him multiple times because he, to me, is such a down-to-earth minimalist and very non-judgmental, which I really appreciate. But I think the Minimal Mom is great. I've not watched a ton of her videos, but everything I've seen I totally resonate with. But yeah, it's just YouTube has become more of a resource for me since we've been on YouTube, because I've been looking around to see what other people are doing in similar content. So that's good. And just to keep reading, and I think just keep reevaluating and realizing that minimalism for me now at this stage in parenting is different than it was last year or 2 years ago, and my stage of minimalism next year might be different.
Yeah.
Not even more minimalist, but just different. So what works for me now might not work for me later. I think flexibility is very important. What does your decluttering process look like?
Well, mine
You're going by
has
category.
Yes, I'm going by category, and I'm doing like a loose Marie Kondo, but I've kind of been posting the order that I've been doing it in, and it's loosely Marie Kondo order, and I've really appreciated it because, like I've said, you can't go back and re-add. Even in the past, I've like decluttered a surface, like a cluttery surface, and then immediately it gets filled up with more clutter. It's like nothing I do has ever made that much of a difference.
Yeah.
But the categories has made a huge difference, because it's just gone. Like,
And it
that's
forces
just gone.
you to acknowledge how much you truly have in that category, whereas a lot of times we just kind of don't ever actually acknowledge it.
And that's why I'm counting a lot of the things, like the books and the clothes, because I wanted to know. I didn't have so much that when I put it all on the bed, it was like, oh man, like I wasn't shocked and appalled at the amount. I was with the kids' books when they were all in the same place, but the clothes, like I kind of knew how much volume, but I didn't realize how many items. And when you think about the items, you think about day-to-day wear, like how many do I need on a single day, and in a week, and in a year, and then you're like, this is,
should I have a shirt that I'm only gonna wear twice in a year? Like probably not, you know.
I know that a lot of people, and even you in your last video said you recommend starting with the kitchen. I'm kind of waiting on you to come do that with me.
I want to. That would be really fun. I hope we can. When I decluttered the first few times, I decluttered using, I guess, what they call the onion method, where you kind of go through your first layer and just sort of see what jumps out at you, and then continue to go down and down. And that worked fine. But later I did regret not doing more brutal, you know, culls. And just later I realized, you know, I thought about decluttering this once. I thought about it twice.
The deferred
Oh
decision.
my gosh.
That's a stink bug.
Oh my gosh. So much wildlife. Too much wildlife. Okay.
Wait, what were we saying?
Deferred decisions or procrastination, which is really what clutter is, and that definition of clutter, that it's just procrastinated, you know, events or, you know, declutters, has really resonated with me a lot, because that's what it is. And so
like, don't face it, deal with it later.
Yeah,
and that's been part of my conviction, is like,
absolutely.
I do that all the time. So I have been challenging myself more to just like be cutthroat. And
so there are items that I picked up the first time, and I kind of knew that they were going to go eventually, but I wasn't ready to say goodbye at that point. And I totally regret not just doing it and just being confident. I think it took me a long time to get confidence and be like, I'm not going to worry about this later. I'm not going to think about it later. And the results are going to be worth it. But once I, went through enough to know the results are worth it, then I started feeling good about just saying no to things coming in and just saying goodbye to things that we had.
And I do like the idea of, instead of saying, what can I use this for? Or will I use this? Of saying, can I live without this? Because for me, as someone who is kind of like more of the hoarder personality, I think that's a more realistic perspective to look at it from, because I'm a very resourceful, like thrifty person. So if I tell myself, will I use this? Can I use this? What can I do with this? Even not for its intended purpose. Like, well, can I use this old ripped thing for a sewing project or something? If I had actually asked myself, can I live without this? Then
that's a totally different.
Of course. Yes. And it's just kind of freeing to ask yourself that, because yes, you can likely live without most of the things.
How has your minimalist journey benefited you so far? I think you've sort of talked about this, or maybe not in the video.
Yeah, so far it's been kind of waves actually of higher stress and lower stress, because for one thing, we haven't gotten rid of almost anything. It's been sitting in our entryway because we're trying to responsibly dispose of it, and I didn't want to just go and chuck it at whatever store, because I don't love Goodwill. So I didn't want to. So we actually brought it all to my parents' house 3 hours away, so that we could take it to the thrift store that we always shop at, that we love. Yes. So it's like a trusted place that we know that they're doing good things in the community and everything. Yeah. So I haven't had much of the benefit in a lot of ways yet of, because we have too much. We don't even have enough boxes right now to get the stuff out that we're getting out.
Good problem.
Yes. But it is still a problem. But so I'll have times where I'm just kind of, I feel like mentally free, because instead of always feeling like I have so many things to do, I feel more like I did this huge project and it's going to benefit our whole family and our household.
Yeah.
I can just rest tonight and play a game with the kids. And it's also, a lot of that is the hope that it gives you of like, this is where we're headed. And we're well on track. We're on our way. So I don't have this just lifestyle and lifetime of chaos and excess and all of it to constantly struggle with and fight with.
It's going to be coming to a close.
Yeah.
Things are going to open up and simplify, and it's
going
to be a great
instead of seeing the clutter in my house and thinking, I'm miserable, this is miserable, I have so much work to do, I'm seeing it and I'm thinking, I already did a lot. I'm going to do more later. It's okay. Like, I can live with this. I can sit with it and just, it's dinner time. Like, I'm just going to eat dinner with the kids and with Alex. Like, I'm not looking at it and like, I have to do this. Cause you know how sometimes you'll eat dinner or you'll do laundry, you do whatever, but you're always doing other things too in the back of your mind.
Absolutely.
So it's been easier for me to just focus on even just rest, like focus on, or when I work out, like I'm working out every day just about, and just saying, well, this is my task right now and the house can wait because I am making progress. So just knowing that I'm making real steps and not just like getting a feather duster and like waving it over my house. I'm doing the hard work.
Yes.
So
and you're taking care of your future self.
Right.
Which I love that idea, because that has really helped me reframe some of the hard work in the beginning, because you realize that the goal is going to be worth it and you are going to reap the benefits.
Right.
And I guess for us, I feel like I'm cleaning and I'm spending about the same time on my house, but my house looks so much better. It's easy to clean. It is legitimately easy to clean. I don't dread cleaning because there's so much less surface clutter that cleaning is like a very simple task. And I love that. And I feel like our schedule is smoother. And I have been able to take on a lot more stuff on my plate, like other things that I really was too overwhelmed, like writing projects and stuff like that, I was too overwhelmed to even consider. So I've definitely had a lot of benefits.
Yeah, for sure. I've even been thinking about my kids who are 4, 2, and 6 months. Mostly my 4-year-old, but a little bit my 2-year-old. There are life skills that I would like to be teaching them that I don't have time for, like doing chores. I don't even have time to teach my kids to do chores because I am always doing chores.
So true. What is your best piece of advice you have for others who are seeking a more minimalist lifestyle?
I would say you have to visualize the life that you would like to have and realize that stuff should be following along behind that instead of you chasing after your stuff. I'm not far along, so I don't feel like I should be giving advice, but that's where I'm at, is that I'm visualizing, this is what I want my life to look like, this is what I value, and this is what I want to put value in with my actions and my time, and trying to have that be primary and my stuff be secondary. And if it's not serving that purpose towards propelling me towards a purpose-driven life, then the stuff needs to go. It's not worth it to have that. And I'm trying to pursue like fruits of the spirit and just the important stuff, and not have the stuff be so all-consuming that I'm not even living the life that I need to live.
Yes, I think I totally agree with everything you just said, and I would my first thought is the question that I asked myself when I had kind of my aha moment was, is the way I am relating to the things in my life a reflection of my ideals and my principles and my belief system? And it was so not.
Right.
I was just living this really materialistic, consumer-driven life, and
it's really easy as an American to think that you're not doing that when
it
you
is so hard not to do, and it's so hard to admit to yourself that that's where you're at, especially if you compare yourself to others and feel like, well, I don't do this and I don't do that, but I mean, you just gotta like look at your heart and, you know,
what am I reflecting to other people?
That was absolutely one of the things that I thought of, is I feel like I don't have the energy in my life to serve others the way I want to have that capacity. I don't have it. What can I do to make it more possible? And this was kind of, so I felt like I've been kind of searching for a way to make margin in my life, make room for that kind of loving, giving servanthood that I wanted. And it was like finally to realize, if you take and you switch your priorities away from stuff and just attaining more, that opens up all this possibility for you as far as time and commitment and energy, and just, I think it's a way that you can bless others.
Yes. And I think it's a very evil thing that we give into, thinking we don't have time for those things because we are serving items. It's idolatry.
Totally. Admitting that is really hard.
It is.
Because it's such a big thing that can cover so many categories of your life. So I think it's easier to just kind of say, well.
But I don't think it's a coincidence that when people start going into minimalism, they start becoming financially free. They start losing weight, maybe if they're slaves to food or to whatever it is. I don't think that's a coincidence.
And I think it gives you this confidence and this power, because stuff has a lot of power in our lives. And when we start to turn that around and to pull away from that and to say, I'm not going to let this stuff dictate my life, I think you realize that you have your power over other habits and other changes, which I certainly need more power.
Yes, we do. We all do.
All of it.
Okay, that's the last question. We are gonna go inside and have a family dinner, like you can do when you start prioritizing things in your life.
That's right. You'll have time for dinner, especially since we didn't have to cook it, because our mother is the best.
Right. So thank you so much for watching our video.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. It's been so fun to see you guys interacting with us and hanging in there for our journey.
Actually watching.
Yeah. What a surprise.
Yeah. And this is the first time we've come back together since the initial start and launch of the channel, and getting some actual followers and feedback and everything. So it's cool to be able to do another video together, and just sorry about all the
bugs. Not nearly as sorry as we are.
Authentic nature,
southern
scenery stuff. So we are really excited every time we get to make a video and put it out, that people are actually liking them and watching them and getting inspired to actually minimalize their own homes, which
you can
is
do it.
Very cool. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
We'll be making more videos for you very soon about decluttering, minimalizing, and simplicity lifestyle changes.
And my kitchen declutter is probably coming up very soon.
Right. Stay tuned.
So I know people love a good kitchen declutter.
I know I
hope I will. All right. We'll talk to you in the next video.
battery. Does that mean it stopped?
No.